All right, sixth grade. So, at first glance, you might be like, what? What does this mean, addition? I already know how to add. Yes, you do. And you guys are amazing at adding. However, we're going to be working on adding positive and negative integers. Wah, 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 which I know is intimidating to some of you. It does not have to be intimidating, it does not have to be scary. I promise we are going to do this and you guys are going to rock it. Okay? So, addition. Addition is definitely probably the first operation that you performed using natural numbers. It's the first thing that you learned how to do once you learned your numbers in terms of mathematical operations. When you add two positive integers, you are simply adding two natural numbers. If you're adding two negative integers, that is very similar to adding two positives, except your answer is negative. Okay? So if I told you to add 2 plus 6, you would all be able to just go, oh, 2 plus 6 is 8. Okay? If I asked you to add negative 2 plus negative 6, you just add the 2 and the 6 because they're both negative. You just add the 2 and the 6 and you attach the negative sign to it, okay? So that is just negative 8. I want to explain these parentheses right here really quick, okay? The reason that I put those parentheses around there is because sometimes it can look very confusing when we are working with addition and subtraction of positive and negative integers. If I write this like this, sometimes it can be confusing as to, okay, which is the minus, where's the plus, is something negative? And so we use the parentheses around the negative integer here to indicate that that is the negative and we are adding that negative integer to negative 2. It just helps to kind of separate the plus sign as addition, as an addition operation, from the negative sign that is in front of the 6. Okay, so that's why I have parentheses there. Just want to explain that to you just in case you've never seen that before. If we were in class today all together, we would all have some sort of manipulatives in front of us on our desks, and we would be working through those to kind of both tactily and visually work through addition of positive and negative integers. Obviously, we can't do that together. If you have, you're probably watching this the day after Easter. If you have some Easter candy laying around, like M&Ms or jelly beans or something like that, that you have enough of, like you've got a certain number of one color and a certain number of another color, you could grab those, maybe 5 to 10 of each color, and kind of work through this as we're working on this. If you like to have things in your hands as you're working through stuff, it might be helpful for you. So you might want to pause this and grab like 10 red jelly beans and 10 green ones, or 10 green M&Ms and 10 orange M&Ms, or whatever. Just don't eat them while you are doing your practice. Okay, but I'm just going to use a pen. So I'm going to be going back and forth a little bit, but it's okay. All right, so what I want you to notice is I've got these squares set up on the page, and I have one side that has a negative and it's red, and one side that has a positive and it is black. If we were together and we were all in class and everyone had black jelly beans, okay, I would say, I want you to put 6 black jelly beans on the positive side, okay? So you would put your 6 black jelly beans on the positive side. That represents our positive 6 of 2 plus 6, okay? And then I would say to you, now I would like you to put 2 black jelly beans on the positive side. So you would do 2 more. Obviously, how many jelly beans do we have on the black side now? We have 8. Okay, now let's move to our negative side. Okay, I would like you to take 8 red jelly beans, whatever. Okay, or not 8, I'd like you to take 6 and put them on your negative side. Those are representing 6 negative jelly beans. Okay, now add 2 more. How many do we have on our negative side now? Well, you have 8 dots there, right? So you have negative 8 there. Negative 2 plus negative 6 equals negative 8. Just like when we had 2 jelly beans and 6 jelly beans. On the black side, we had 8 altogether. Okay? Now, what if I said to you, I would like you to take 3 red jelly beans and place them on the red side. Okay, so there's negative 3. And now I would like you to place 4 red jelly beans on the red side. So we added 4 more jelly beans on the red side. How many jelly beans do we have total on the red side? We have negative 7. We have 7 jelly beans over there. Okay, I'm going to skip doing the black side because I think we're really good on the positives. Okay, so example number 1 says add 4 plus 2 on a number line. We can visualize adding positive and negative integers on a number line to help us as we're starting to move through this addition of positive and negative integers, okay? So if I have 4, that is 0 right here, 0. You know what? Let me change colors so we can see this clearer, okay? So 0 to 4. Here's 4. Okay, so there's 4 units on our number line. That's 4. 0 to 4 represents 4. Now to 4, I want to add 2. I want to add 2. So from where I stopped, I am going to go 2 more units. 1, 2 units. This is my plus 2. And where did I stop? Where did I stop? I stopped where you all knew I was going to stop because you all know that 4 plus 2 is equal to 6. So I had 4. I went from 0 to 4 to represent a positive 4. I stopped at 4. I added 2 more units, and that ended me up at 6. 4 plus 2 is 6. That's how we can use a number line. How do we do that with negative numbers? Well, first and foremost, we have to remember that negative numbers move from 0 to the left on our number line. So we're going to start at 0 again to represent this negative 2 that I have here. And we're going to move 2 units to the left to represent negative 2. So there is my negative 2. To negative 2, I'm going to add negative 3. So I'm going to keep going in the same direction. 3 units. 1 unit, 2 units, 3 units. There's my adding negative 3, moving in the same direction. And where did I stop? I stopped at negative 5. Negative 2 plus negative 3 is negative 5. So through this so far, I hope you have recognized a really important rule, or 2 really important rules, okay? When we are adding integers with like signs, that means the signs of the integers that we are adding are the same. Like 4 plus 2 are both positive, or negative 2 plus negative 3 are both negative. So when we're adding integers with like signs, you add the absolute value of the addends, and then you give that sum, you give the sum of the, you give the sum, that of shouldn't be there, give the sum, the sign of the addends. Let me talk about what I mean about absolute value here. 4 plus 2, again, positive integers, we're good. We know 4 plus 2 is 6, okay? What happens when I say add the absolute value of these 2 negative integers? What is the absolute value of negative 2? 2. What is the absolute value of negative 3? 3. What is 2 plus 3? 5. That's step number 1. Add the absolute value of the addends. Step number 2, give the sum the sign of the addends. What was the sign of our addends? It was negative. So our answer to -2 plus -3 is -5. This applies only because our integers have like signs. So if you have two negative numbers, you simply add together their absolute values and give them the negative sign. So example number 3 says add -2 plus -1 plus -3. So we're going to take the absolute value of all of those. The absolute value of -2 is 2, of -1 is 1, of -3 is 3. 2 plus 1 plus 3 is 6, and we're only allowed to use that rule because they're all negative. So we give the sum, which is 6, the sign of the addends, -6. So -2 plus -1 plus -3 is -6. Let me show you that really quickly on the number line, just to give my more visual math people another example of that. So we're going to start at 0 up here on this number line, okay? And we're going to go -2. Okay, so there's our -2 plus -1. So keep moving in that same direction, 1 unit, okay? That takes us to here. There's our plus -1. And now we still have -3, so 3 more units. 1, 2, 3 units takes us here. And what did we end up at? We ended up at -6. We did it correctly, okay? Box skill check number 1 says to do number 1 and 2 using a number line. So number 2 is -1 plus -3. Start at 0. Move to the left 1 unit, because that's -1. Okay, plus -3. So from where we ended, continue to move in the same direction because we are adding 3 units to the left. It's a -3. 1 unit, 2 units, 3 units, and you end up right here. There's our 3 units, and where did we stop? -4. So on a number line, we just showed that -1 plus -3 is equal to -4. Now, question number 4 says add using the rule. So we have -4 plus -13 plus -5. So we are first going to add the absolute value of the addends. So we're going to take the absolute value of each one of these. Absolute value of -4 is 4, of -13 is 13, and of -5 is 5. 4 plus 13 is 17, plus 5. I'm sorry, I just looked at the wrong one. This is number 5, not number 4. My bad, okay? So 4 plus 13 is 17, plus 5 is 22. Step number 2 says give the sum the sign of the addends. -22. So -4 plus -13 plus -5 is -22. If you want to try and challenge yourself with skill check number 3, you should arrive at the answer -13. And number 4, you should arrive at the answer 23. All right, now we're going to take a look at a number line again, and this time we're going to add 1 and -1. So now we have 1 plus -1. So we have integers with unlike signs. They are not the same. Start at 0 on our number line, and we're going to go 1 unit to the right to represent our +1. There's our +1. Now we're going to add -1. Okay? We have to move from where we ended. Okay, I'm just drawing it up above here so I can show you what happens. We ended here, okay, at 1 when we added 1, but now we have to add -1, which means we need to move to the left. When we go back that direction, where did we stop? We stopped even with 0. So 1 plus -1 is equal to 0. Okay? Now, let's go back to our little fake mats that we have here in front of us, or jelly beans or M&Ms if you have something like that in front of you. Okay? Let's say that our black pieces now are going to represent units of +1, and our red pieces are all going to represent units of -1, okay? Now, let's tackle the problem. -4 plus 6. What does -4 plus 6 equal? So what I want you to do first is take your red jelly beans, if you're using them, or a red colored pencil if you're just doing this on paper, okay, and represent your -4. 1, 2, 3, 4. On your black side, I need you to represent the +6. 1, 2, 3, 4, and actually I'm going to write this like this. 6 like this. Okay, so we have -4 on our red side, and we have +6 on our black side. Okay, now I want you to get rid of, if you're using something that you can move away, I want you to move away any pairs of red and blacks. Okay, now I'm just going to circle my pairs of red and black. So I have a pair here and a pair here, and I have another pair here and another pair here. If I was using some sort of manipulatives, I would move those pairs completely off my mats now so they no longer exist. What I can do here is just erase them. So those are gone. What am I left with? I'm left with 2 on my positive side. So -4 plus 6 is equal to +2. Okay, +2. Let's try another one. What if I said -5 plus 3? Red, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Black, 1, 2, 3. Circle any pairs. There's a pair. And there's a pair. Okay, so those get to go away. I still have one more over here, so I'm going to circle a match over here. Okay, so those get to go away. If you're moving stuff off, move those off now. I'm erasing. I'm left with 2 on my red side. So -5 plus 3 is -2. Now let's look at some similar problems on a number line. Okay? -6 plus 4. So -6, you start at 0 and you go 6 units all the way to the left because it's negative, and you end here at -6. -6. Now we are going to add a +4. So we need to move back towards 0. We need to move towards the right because we're adding a positive number. 1 unit, 2, 3, 4 units. Here's my +4. Where did I end? I ended at -2. So using a number line, we show that -6 plus 4 is equal to -2. How about -3 plus +9? Start at 0. -3 means I move 3 units to the left. There's my -3. Okay, I'm stopping at -3. Now I need to add +9 units. I need to move to the right because it's positive. 9 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Takes me right here. Here's my +9. And I have stopped at +6. So -3 plus 9 is equal to 6. Now, every time you have to add positive and negative integers, you do not want to have to get out a counting mat or draw a number line. So let's talk about some rules for when we add integers with unlike signs. That means we are adding something like 2 plus -4 or 7 plus -3. Unlike signs. Okay? Here's our rules, and then we'll talk about how they all work out. Number 1, subtract the absolute value of the addends smaller from larger and give the sum the sign of the addend with the larger absolute value. Let's look at how that works out. Example number 6 is add 5 plus -2. I'm just going to rewrite that problem right here. 5 plus -2. First thing we're going to do is we are going to take the absolute value of each of these. What is the absolute value of 5? 5. What is the absolute value of -2? 2. Okay, so we have our absolute values, and we're doing this because these are unlike signs. Now, step number 1 says subtract the absolute value of the addends, smaller from larger. So we have an absolute value of 5 and an absolute value of 2. Which absolute value is bigger, 5 or 2? 5. So what we're going to do is we're going to rewrite our 5 plus -2 as a 5 minus 2. We're going to subtract the absolute values. 5 minus 2 is equal to 3. Okay? Step number 2 says give this the sign of the addend with the larger absolute value. So which one had a larger absolute value, 5 or 2? Well, 5 did. In our original problem, what sign did 5 have? Was 5 positive or was 5 negative? 5 is positive, so 3, the answer, stays positive. So 5 plus -2 is positive 3. How about example number 7? Add -7 plus 7. So what we're going to do, here's -7 plus 7. Okay, what's the absolute value of -7? 7. What's the absolute value of 7? 7. Subtract now. 7 minus 7 is equal to 0. No signs for 0. The answer is just 0. Okay? Skill check number 2. Number 2 says add 3 plus -1 on a number line. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3. Takes me to 3. There's positive 3. Okay? Plus -1. So now I need to move to the left because I need to go -1 units. So I move to the left 1 unit. There's my -1. And where did I end up at? I ended up at 2. So 3 plus -1 is equal to 2. Okay? Number 3 is -5 plus 8. Unlike signs here. What is the absolute value of -5? 5. What is the absolute value of 8? 8. Which one is larger, 5 or 8? 8. So we do 8 minus 5. 8 minus 5 is 3. Look back at your original problem. Okay? You had -5 and 8. Which one had the higher absolute value? 8. 8 is positive in our original problem, which means our answer is positive. So the answer is 3. -5 plus 8 is 3. Number 4, 21 plus -8. What's the absolute value of 21? 21. What is the absolute value of -8? 8. Which one is bigger, 21 or 8? 21. So we do 21 minus 8. 21 minus 8 is 13. Which one had the higher absolute value, 21 or 8? Well, 21 did. In our original problem, 21 is positive, so our answer stays positive. 21 plus negative 8 is 13. Number 5 is 8 plus negative 11 plus 6. What you want to do in a problem like this is add your like signs first. 8 and 6 are both positive. So 8 plus 6 is 14 plus negative 11. Okay, now we have an addition problem that has unlike signs. Absolute value of 14. 14. Absolute value of negative 11. 11. Set up your subtraction. 14 minus 11 is 3. In our problem, which had a larger absolute value, 14 or negative 11? 14. 14 is positive, so the answer is positive. I'm going to write another example. What if we add negative 9 plus 4? What is the absolute value of negative 9? 9. What is the absolute value of 4? 4. What is 9 minus 4? 9 minus 4 is 5. What has a larger absolute value, 9 or 4? 9 does. In my original problem, 9 was negative. So the answer gets assigned a negative sign. Negative 9 plus 4 is negative 5. How about another one? How about 6 plus negative 22? Absolute value of 6 is 6. Absolute value of negative 22 is 22. Set up your subtraction problem. 22 minus 6. 22 minus 6 is 16. What has a larger absolute value, 6 or 22? 22 has a larger absolute value. In my original problem, that was negative, so my answer must be negative. 6 plus negative 22 is negative 16. If you want to tackle, I did all the ones in skill check number 2. Okay, so that's this lesson. Okay, hang in with me. You guys are going to do great. If you have questions on this, please reach out to me.